What's up, everybody? It's your boy DTLF back with another post-game recap, man. As we had the Atlanta Hawks versus the Bucks, game one of the Eastern Conference Finals, man. Can you believe it? That the Hawks take game one, the number 5 seed doing all this damage, taking game one from the 3-seeded Milwaukee Bucks, Eastern Conference Finals. I am beyond impressed at this point. I already ordered the Trae Young jersey. It might take a week or two to get here, but we are set up already because Trae Young has become a superstar right before our eyes, okay? Again tonight, spectacular to the tune of 48 points and 11 assists and 7 rebounds, 6'1" on the road against one of the top tier defensive teams. Oh, man, my heart, man. I got to tell you, this kid Trae Young has the most heart I have seen in a 6-foot body since Allen Iverson. No blasphemy, all real. And I'm not saying he's the next AI or whatever, but I'm saying he has the most heart I have seen in a 6-foot body and the most skill combination since Allen Iverson. I can say that confidently now. Again, he's putting up regular season numbers like it's nothing. And it's the playoffs, guys, Eastern Conference Finals, leading his team. And the thing about him is he's controlling the tempo of the offense. He's getting his teammates involved. Again, 11 assists tonight. And he's taking over when he has to. All right. He even had the little shimmy 3. I'm just like, wow, this kid's confidence is through the roof. If you guys aren't enjoying this, I don't know what to tell you. But the Hawks have exceeded everybody's expectations. I don't even think Trae Young's dad thought they'd be here. That's how surprising this is, to be honest with you. No disrespect. But I'm just saying, Trae Young is the real deal. I see a little bit of Kyrie in him, a little bit of Steph Curry, a little bit of AI. Some of the biggest 6-foot titans, I see some of that in Trae Young, and he has arrived. And I love it because, again, this man has been disrespected throughout his career. If it isn't for his hair or lack of hair, it's because he was traded for Luka or whatever the reason. People love disrespecting him. But Trae Young is here to stay, whether you like it or not. He's going to be balling. I suggest you either enjoy the show or continue to hate because this kid has arrived, man. But what y'all feel about that game? Like, I'm surprised. I thought the Bucks would come out here aggressive. They had the size advantage. They got athleticism advantage. But one thing they don't have is Trae Young, okay? And he's the advantage in every single series. He has been the best player. I got to say that wholeheartedly, every single series, because even when he's not putting up the numbers, he's controlling the tempo and the flow of the offense, and he's making the Hawks players better. That's right. Gallinari getting open shots. Bogdanovich, even though he's not hitting. Kevin Huerter looking nice. Even Clint Capella and John Collins eating. They're feasting. By the way, shout out to them. Shout out to Nate McMillan. Excellent coaching, man. Shout out to Clint Capella. 19 rebounds again tonight. Big beast on the glass, man. Just absolutely killing it. I can't wait till I receive my Trae Young jersey. I could check this out. For the first time ever, I thought I could just go to the mall and buy a Trae Young jersey. I went to 2 different malls. Sold out. I thought, he's one of the most hated players because, I don't know, people are weird like that. They like to talk about his hair. So I thought I'd find one. I couldn't get any jersey. So shout out to my boy for hooking it up and letting me know where I could get one. Ended up ordering it, and I'm excited to receive that. But this kid is a real deal, man. 48 points and 11, and he missed a gang of threes. Imagine had he made those, he probably would have had 60. Think about that. A 60-point game versus a top-tier defensive team and as the 5th seed. Crazy. How y'all feeling, though? You guys still have Milwaukee coming out, or do you guys have Atlanta? I think I've shifted completely to Atlanta. I think Atlanta has a real chance here, not just to get out of the East, but to win a championship. Okay, I really do. And you can see how the NBA is starting to shift over to that type of guard, the Trae Young type, the Steph Curry type. These are the guys. Thanks, Isaac. Appreciate you, bro. He said Trae is balling. Would you trade Colin Sexton? Would you trade for Colin Sexton? What would you give up? I'd give up a lot. Colin Sexton is decent. I'd give up a lot. He said, I think Atlanta, they're for real. Atlanta versus Phoenix. And by the way, who wouldn't like to see that face off, right? You got Devin Booker who's balling out. I have to give him credit. I dislike him, but he's balling out. And then you got Trae Young, who's probably been the best player in the playoffs. Yeah, I could say that. What is he averaging? Close to 30 a game. Donovan Mitchell, before he got injured, he was looking like the best player in the playoffs, but now it looks like Trae Young. Now, here's the question. Is Trae Young officially better than Luka or not? I don't want to answer that because I like both of them. Honestly, to me, they're on par. Now, one is more crafty and one is more shifty and better handles, and that's Trae Young. One has more size and Luka, and one is a little bit shorter, but again, more crafty. Um, they both have a lot of range. They're both fearless. The one thing I like about these type of players is that they have a lot of heart, man, a lot of passion out there. They're not afraid to just pull up from anywhere, and they're doing what they do best. They're doing it efficiently too. Like Trae Young got to 48 on less than 40 shots. So that's pretty efficient. He was 17 for 34. He shot 50% from the field. So his 48 points, very efficient. Very efficient. And same thing with Luka. He's a very efficient player. The only difference is Trae Young has a way better team than Luka has, a way better supporting cast, and he's in the East Coast, which even though it's a little bit better this year, I still got the West as a tougher coast in general. Alex, bro, don't disrespect me. How you gonna say I'm not a real Laker fan because I watched the playoffs? He say you're not a real Laker fan. You've been saying good game, but F them teams. I said, man, get out of here, bro. I don't know. You got issues, bro. Like I can't like basketball. That makes me a non-real Laker fan. Get out of here, bro. I don't know, man. Some people have real issues, control issues. I'd hate to be in a relationship with y'all, man, because them control issues are looking real insecure right now. I'm probably the most diehard Laker fan probably. Now, there's an argument for others out there, of course. But literally, if you come to my house, my rug is purple. My table looks like Staples Center, but the black version. I got Kobe everywhere in my living room. Come on, man. Don't question my fan. That's very disrespectful. I had to block him. That's just haterade. Stop drinking haterade. He said, what about Alex Caruso? Well, we did hear he was arrested for possession of marijuana, but I don't know the details. I didn't really read up too much on it. He should be fine. He's got money. He's got lawyers. He'll be straight. Not worried about it, man. He said, what's your thoughts on Caruso getting arrested for weed? I'm not going to judge these players. A lot of them, it's a recreational thing. It's legal here in California. The other thing is that, here's the thing. He might have not been used to other states, right? And in Cali, you can basically smoke anywhere now. Sometimes you can't judge these players. They might have joint pain, or they just might do it for recreation. So I say, he is just a regular average cat, man. People forget that these celebrities, these star players, these athletes are just like us, man. They're gonna make mistakes. They're gonna slip up. Hopefully, Dude was able to get pulled out of jail. You gotta know about the laws in Texas, though, man. I don't know. He said trade Kuz and Shooter for Cameron Payne. Get out of here, man. Cameron Payne is good, but you're trying to trade both Kuz and Shooter for a role player? Like, nah, we can get something better for that package. I'm not going to be sold by recency bias. He's balling out in the playoffs. Congratulations. But, he's a product of the system. There's no guarantee that he comes to the Lakers and balls out the way he's balling right now anyways. So I do think he's a free agent, if I'm not mistaken. He's going to get paid somewhere. He's like, he posted bail, by the way. So he's out. Yeah, there's nothing to talk about there. Let the man live. He just wants to live and enjoy himself. He said, you can't trade for someone who's a free agent in the offseason. That's what I'm saying. A lot of people are going to want players that are balling out in the playoffs, and rightfully so. They're having good postseasons. But I will say this about that. You got to be careful because a lot of these players are products of the system. They look great over there, and they won't look so good over here. Do you think Kuz, Dennis, and they first can get a star player? I think they can get something close to a star player. Maybe a has-been star player. Maybe somebody like Russell Westbrook. But I'm not sure if you can get a star player with just that. You might have to include multiple first-round picks. Do you see the assets that all these other franchises have? They got way more than us to give up. So we're going to have to be very crafty with that. If you were the Lakers GM, would you rather have Spencer Dinwiddie or Mike Conley? Spencer Dinwiddie. He's a combo guard we need. He's like a poor man CJ McCollum when he's healthy. And, we could use his scoring better than Mike Conley's floor general. And Mike Conley's injured a lot of the times throughout his career. So, yeah, I'll take the healthier player, even though he's coming off of an injury. Hawks are perfectly built team roster-wise. They are. You're right. I mean, they got a big man like Clint Capella to do the dirty work. They got John Collins who could stretch the floor, hit a big three tonight in the fourth. They got guards like Bogdanovich and obviously Trae Young and guys who can space the floor like Gallo. And then off the bench, here's a scary part about the Hawks. They're winning, and they're not even complete yet, right? They don't have Cam Reddish, who's also very good defensively and offensively. He's a very uh, streaky shooter. They have what's his name? DeAndre Hunter, who plays excellent defense, can slash and also knock down a three. And both of those guys have been out. So add those two players to the equation, they become better both defensively and offensively. So, you know, the Hawks are really doing their thing. I thought they wouldn't get past New York, but after they got past New York, one of the top-rated defenses in the league, has been all uphill for them, man. They've been just climbing and climbing nonstop. And check this out. They beat Milwaukee now. Whether they win the next game or not, you know, as long as they protect home court, they could go up 3-1. And they've been excellent at home and on the road. They've been getting hard wins. So, you know, they took one in Philly, and they just took a hard one in Milwaukee. This was a tough victory. Did you see the way they were guarding Trae Young? He was feeling people's bodies, man. I'm telling you, PJ Tucker and all of them were bumping him and hitting him. And he continued. He still dropped 48. So that tells you this kid is a superstar, bona fide superstar. And, you know, he's going to join some elite company if he makes the finals. Now we're going to talk about him in the same breath as if he gets to the finals. He's already made a name for himself. But if he gets to the finals, he'll be in the same breath as Kyrie Irving. He'll be in the same breath as Allen Iverson and the same breath as Steph Curry as far as potential-wise. Now, I'm not saying he's them. I'm not going to be like Stephen A. and say he's the next this, he's the next that. No, he's the next Trae Young. All right, there's only one of him. But he does take little things from different people's game, and you could see it in the kid, man. The number one thing is this kid's heart is ginormous, man. Whew. And not just that, he has a great supporting cast around him. I've liked Gallo since he was a New York Knick for years. You know, this guy's a big-time shot taker and maker, and he's a decent defender. I've loved players like, well, I don't really like Lou Williams or Solomon Hill. Those are probably my two least favorite on the team. But Lou Williams is capable. Clint Capella, I don't know why the Rockets traded him. That was dumb. They didn't get much in return. What they get, Covington, horrible trade for them. But you see what Atlanta has turned him into. He's basically the workhorse on that team. John Collins can jump out the gym, knock down shots, play some solid defense, and crash the glass. And then, you know, they got the great role players, like I said. Bogdanovic's not even healthy. But, yeah, I'm glad people are finally starting to appreciate Trae Young's greatness. I said this since he came out of college, man. I've been on this kid. Matter of fact, I thought he was going to be better than Luka when he came out of college. Me and family members have had this argument, and eventually I conceded it to Luka, but I think I was right, and then I was wrong, and then I'm right again. He's a Laker Nation cheering for Atlanta. We should be cheering for whoever comes out of the East. Honestly, I like both of those teams, the Bucks and the Hawks. The only player I don't like is Solomon Hill, all right? Can't stand him. He's a major reason why the Lakers had that injury-riddled season with that dirty play he did on LeBron. But outside of him, I love Trae Young. I love Nate McMillan. Love Giannis. I love those type of players, man. They got a lot of heart. They deserve to be where they're at. You know, both of those teams, I think, are exactly where they should be, right? Both of those franchises, both of those fan bases are loyal. All right, they've been there through the thick and thin. So, you know, you gotta love, you gotta respect that passionate fan base. And you know, I don't like bandwagon fan bases or racist fan bases, right? Like Celtics or bandwagon fan bases like Clippers or Nets. But I definitely respect passionate fan bases. If you're a Hawks fan, you've been around for the Joe Johnson, Josh Smith days, you know. Major respect. You're a Bucks fan. You've been around since forever. I can't even since Michael Redd days. Major props, you know. So the East Coast, I hope y'all win the championship. Well, whatever team comes out of the East. Now I'm rooting for the Hawks. So they're such a Cinderella story, such a compelling story. And again, it's been a long time since I've seen so much heart in a 6-foot body. All right, Trae Young is that guy. All right, he reminds me a lot of those guys. He said Hawks had Al Horford. I remember that. That was a good draft pick, but unfortunately, they never really made – I think they made one run with him. I think one time they got to the Eastern Conference Finals once, right? But outside of that, you know, they haven't really been there. He said the 2015 Hawks won 60 games, and they got swept by LeBron's Cavaliers. Yeah, this is a different breed, man. This team is really looking at the championship and saying, hey, LeBron's not on the West Coast. All right, Kevin Durant's not here right now. This is our opportunity to really make a splash and try to win a championship. I think right now, Atlanta's dialed in, you know, and I think they could taste that championship. So they're probably the most dangerous team in the playoffs right now. Right now. As good as Phoenix is playing, and they're playing good. I hate to say it because I despise them, but Phoenix is playing good. They're moving the ball well. Devin Booker's doing his thing. They're about to get Chris Paul back the next game. So they're playing really well. And, like I said, once Devin Booker puts out the Clippers, and I'll give him his props, but then I can go back to regular scheduled programming of hating the Suns and their fan base that's really trashy. I can go back to that and rooting for the East Coast. So looking forward to that. He said, Hawks are my Heat from last year, just this year. Oh, okay, I see you. Spud Webb. Ooh, Spud Webb. I ain't been around that long, bro. Because I'm happy for Lou Williams. I'm not a Lou Williams fan. I've had altercations with him on Twitter. He's not the most humble guy, Trust me. Trust me when I say that. He was out here ragging on Laker Nation when we were down. He was acting a fool, and I pretty much called him out. I said, you think you're Hollywood now, huh? That LA got to you, bro, but let's be real. You ain't nothing without the Lakers, all right? And he found that out the hard way. When he played for the Clippers, he found out that there really is no shine outside of the purple and gold. He said, playoff Pete, break them free throws. Bro, I'm not even going to talk about that series like that up until they finish the job, because every time I come in, every time a team is up 2-0, right, the Clippers somehow find a way. They're like damn roaches, man. They find a way to survive. And so I'm going to wait till Phoenix gets the job done. Then I'll give them their proper credit. But yes, playoff P continues to do his thing. Not playoff P, I'm sorry, way off P. Brick George, or AKA Pandemic P. He continues to do his thing. He bricked 2 straight free throws. All right, and he calls himself a superstar. Imagine how LeBron James did that in a crucial game. He would have been all over ESPN, all over everything, right? And I feel like when it happens to a crappy-ass franchise like the Clippers, who ESPN likes to jock ride and Fox loves to jock ride, they kind of just brush over the subject. So that's what really had me annoyed. I was watching the sports today to see if they really touched on the subject. They kind of just let them down easy, man. I guarantee you if it was LeBron or even Kobe back in his day, breaking 2 straight, and then we lost the game because of it, oof, they would have said they're not clutch. They would have said, question their star status. They would have questioned everything. Shoot, if it would have been LeBron, they would have said, is his time over? They would have said, is it time for him to retire? Trust me, they would have went off the rails with that. He said, Trae Young whipped his glizzy out tonight. Bro, Trae Young is a beast, man. He's been a beast. He's been a beast his whole career. He got off to, like I said, a slow start his rookie season, and people they basically just riding the momentum trashed him. But I've always been on his side, man. Awesome finish and awesome FB show. Thanks, Laura. Replica says, do you think the refs are going to try to help the Flippers win Game 3? Absolutely. I mean, they already got away with a lot of calls over there in Phoenix, right? But I don't care. Honestly, I don't care for either of those 2 teams. I do believe that Phoenix is going to pull out the victory. They're the better team. And I do believe that the Flippers are there as a fluke, as a result of everybody else being injured and some lucky, career nights from rookies and stuff like that, young players. So they shouldn't really be there. I wouldn't be shocked if they get swept, to be honest with you. So, the quicker they're out, the better I feel. Bucks in 5. Bucks fan, hey, I hope if y'all get it, bro, I'm rooting for y'all. I actually think that the Bucks I thought, at least before tonight, that the Bucks were better equipped to win in the finals. But now that I look at the Hawks, man, they're so well-rounded, and they got the brightest star shining the brightest at the right time in Trae Young. So I don't know who I want to win anymore, but I am kind of leaning towards the Hawks because they're fun, man. They're the funnest team left in the playoffs to watch. And I'm having a blast just watching Trae Young cross everybody over and make defenses adjust to him, not the other way around. He's getting the high screen and roll, taking people off the drill, putting them on their hip, and then killing them with that little floater game, man. He's worked on that. You could tell he has that thing perfected. And then what happens is when the secondary defender comes over to try to block that shot, Trae Young is lobbing it up to Clint Capella and John Collins, using them perfectly as weapons, type of a pick your poison type thing. And then, when they're going under the screens, he's making them pay with those, 30-foot 3-point shots. So he's got kind of a perfect offensive game for today's modern day era. And he also has very good speed. He has a lot of heart. And again, He's perfectly equipped to lead his team all the way to the final. So we'll see. It's not over yet. I think Giannis and the Bucks have a good chance to come back and even the series and maybe even take the lead. But it is going to be really hard to stop Trae Young and the Hawks. They, again, somebody mentioned it earlier, amazing job of building around Trae and adding the right role players and pieces. He said, Broadus is a famous Suns fan, is always talking trash about the Lakers. He's hoping the Hawks knock them out of the finals. I'm looking forward to it, man. I think both of those East Coast teams are better than the Suns. But I will say this. DeAndre Ayton is, people, again, were trying to label him a bust because obviously Trae Young and Luka Doncic were both in that same draft. So that was a stacked draft now that you look back on it. But DeAndre Ayton was no bust. And the more you look at it, the more I feel like he was drafted in the right spot. He's fitting in perfectly there. He's actually destroying the Clippers in the paint, both on the glass and on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. And, he's no Rudy Gobert, so he's doing his job. And hopefully Rudy Gobert is at home taking notes from the younger player because Rudy was just a complete embarrassment. He was an abomination in that series. My man Jordan Smith said, DTLF, in your opinion, who will AD have a better season than LeBron next year and why? That's hard to answer, man. That's hard to answer because you can never count out LeBron James. He is still the best player in the NBA when healthy. And even though I feel like Father Time is slowly creeping up on him, he still has a lot of gas left in the tank. Now, if LeBron's able to fully heal up and come healthy to the season and we're able to get him enough help in the terms of maybe another star player or some really good role players to help out with that scoring and playmaking load, then it will be LeBron James again. However, if there's not much we can do in the offseason, we're going to need Anthony Davis to be that guy you just mentioned. We're going to need him to be the best guy on the team because he's younger, he has less mileage on his body, and he's going to have to do a lot of the carrying. That way LeBron James can stay healthy. He said, my Hawks are rolling. We are rocking in the ATL. Hey, man, congratulations, William Scott. Very happy for Hawks fans. I know exactly how passionate y'all are. Like I said, I have an uncle that lives down there, and years back when I went to go visit, I could see Atlanta Hawk jerseys, Dominique Wilkins jerseys everywhere. Just Chocolate Thunder. Like it was. I love loyal fan base. I just do. I love it. And every time I'm in y'all city, I'm gonna try to go to a game just to feel the different environments. You know what I'm saying? I'm a diehard Laker fan through and through. Make no mistake. But I do like a loyal fan base, and I absolutely love the fact that they ride and die with their squad. There's nothing more respectable than that because Laker Nation is the same way. We were selling out Staples Center when we were winning 16 games, and we're definitely selling out Staples Center after the pandemic now. So loyalty, that's where I'm at, man. That's what it's all about. He said, told y'all don't sleep on the Hawks. He said, wouldn't be surprised if they won the whole thing. Kevin, man, if they win the whole thing, it's going to be a blessing in disguise because, look, it's not a team we hate as a Laker fan base, right? It's a team we actually support as a secondary fan base, right? And the Laker players get to rest and we get to come back stronger than ever. So it could be a win-win if they end up closing it out. Same thing for Milwaukee. I don't mind if they take it. The only team I'd be really disappointed if they take is the Suns. The Clippers, to me, aren't even a contender. They've always been a pretender who just got to slip through the cracks. He said, Hawks aren't beating the Suns. GTF out of here. Okay, I hope your crystal ball's right, man, but we don't know that. We don't know that. Everything factors into a playoff series, okay? Matchup purposes, they match up really well. If you look at it, if you really know basketball, DeAndre Ayton versus Clint Capella is going to be really fun to watch, okay? Then Devin Booker versus Trae Young, if that happens, that's going to be fun to watch. And you got the role players, right? Cam Johnson is balling out for the Suns. They got dirty players like Chris Paul and Jay Crowder that could wreak some havoc just because they get away with being dirty. And then on the other side, on the Hawks side, like I said, I hope DeAndre Hunter comes back, Cam Reddish. They got Gallinari. They got Bogdanovich needs to get healthy because they're going to need him at some point in these playoffs. And they got John Collins. So they match up really well. Anything is possible. You see, if you sit here and sound ignorant, oh, this team can't win. Bro, they're there for a reason. They're this far for a reason, okay? Any team minus the Clippers can win the championship at this point. Okay? He said Bucks played The Bucks played a bad game. Trae will not have another 50-point game. Bucks in 5 or 6. I will see. We'll see. Kardashian curse, LOL. That's tough, yo. He split his nose. That was nasty. That was nasty. I'm not shocked at all because what's his face? Patrick Beverly is a dirty player. You might think that was an accident, but his ass is always throwing his head around like a bobblehead everywhere. So, I think everything the Clippers do is dirty. Everything. Even DeMarcus Cousins pushed Devin Booker after DeAndre Ayton hit the game winner. I don't know what his purpose for that was, but like I said, they're a dirty team. I'm not shocked at all. He said, Dan, would you want Embiid on the Lakers if ever became available via trade? I would love Embiid, but he's not going to become available via trade to us because we don't have the assets. They're going to ask for a major haul since he's the second best center after Anthony Davis when healthy in the league. So, yeah, they're going to ask for a major haul for him. I don't even think they're trading him, though. They're better off trading Ben Simmons and maximizing Joel Embiid's potential. Cousins is an emotional dude. He's just dumb sometimes. He's just dumb. That was dumb of him. Like, oh, you're out here just barricading your way through trying to push players. Like, dude, that's dumb. That's really stupid. Imagine if they would have called something, a technical or something, and, you take away your team's opportunity or even to throw anything up with 0 point whatever, right? So you got to be smart in the playoffs. Would I want Bradley Beal in a heartbeat? Like this. Bradley Beal would fit in with the Lakers like a glove. And not any kind of glove, like a Michael Jackson glove, man, like a magical glove. RIP to MJ. But you know what I'm saying? He would fit in perfectly. He said, we not even playing now, still Lakers in 5. That's right, Nemo. It's always Lakers in 4, man. You know what's up. Did Cousins get a championship ring when the Lakers won? I have no clue at this point, man. He's a Clipper, so my memory just becomes foggy and murky anytime, they become Clippers. I stopped giving a damn. Zubats doesn't even exist to me anymore, and I used to love him when he was a Laker. That's how much I despise that franchise. The only one I still respect is Rondo because he hasn't really made a huge impact for the Flippers. And, he was a superhero for the Lakers, man. He came up big. So he's always going to have love and respect over here, but except when he's, wearing that uniform. Do I hate Jay Crowder? I can't stand Jay Crowder, Jackie. I think if you're a LeBron fan or even a Laker fan, for the battles we've had with Jay Crowder, he's just a weirdo, man. Not only does he look and act weird, but he plays weird too. Everything about him is weird, and he's always doing weird motions, trying to injure players and stuff. Don't like him. Don't like those kind of players. Reminds me of Bruce Bowen. No, thank you. Do I want Westbrook to the Lakers? Yeah, sure. I'm open to it, man. Again, you guys know me. I'm not the biggest Westbrook fan out here. I never have been. I'd be hypocritical to tell you, yeah, I love Westbrook. Do I like the way he plays? Yes. Do I love his attitude? No. And so I'm not the biggest Westbrook fan, but I'm a believer that whoever you acquire will fall in line behind LeBron James. We've seen Rondo do it. We've seen Dwight do it. And those were some controversial figures in the basketball world as far as, being level-headed. We even seen Boogie, even though he was injured all year, just not bring us any problems to the locker. So anything's possible with LeBron James. When you have a real leader, everybody falls in line. Even Dennis Rodman would probably come out of retirement and fall in line under LeBron James. Just the same way that Metta World Peace fell in line under Kobe Bryant, Matt Barnes, all these, players that were hotheads. You got to fall in line when you're playing next to greatness. You have to. He said Westbrook to the Lakers would be great combination. He might consider a pay cut because of his desire for a ring. All right. I've been hearing, guys, all right, and it's not really any, I didn't want to say it because it's not any, like, super credible sources, but I've been reading around the web, all right, nothing specific, but I've been reading that the Lakers are already in talks with the Washington Wizards for Russell Westbrook. Rumor has it we can't trade the Kuzma contract for something of a poison pill up until August. I think August is when his contract becomes tradable. So remember, we've already made a trade with Washington before, and that panned out really good for them. So they think, that we're a gold mine for them. They can get young talent from us. They got Thomas Bryant. They got Mo Wagner off of us. They've gotten some pieces. They even got Isaac Bonga from us. So there's a good relationship between the Lakers front office and the Wizards. Now, if you put the pieces of the puzzle together, Kyle Kuzma removing Lakers from his bio, that means the Lakers probably already told him they're going to move him this offseason. That's number one. Number 2, Russell Westbrook's wife, Anthony Davis and LeBron and Westbrook all following each other on social media. That means there's already been preliminary talks amongst them. And, Westbrook has a lot of respect from front offices. So they're probably going to do whatever he requests, right? As long as the deal is fair. And so there's probably already been preliminary conversations, or maybe even an agreement that has been struck between the Wizards and the Lakers. The only thing is, according to multiple sources that I've read, I've been doing my research on it, Kyle Kuzma's contract can't be traded till August. So if that's a part of the deal, maybe that's what the holdup is. Maybe Westbrook's already a Laker. We just don't know it officially. Don't quote me. It's not breaking news, but I'm just saying, keep an open mind because it could happen, and I think it's very likely to happen. Especially if you can read the tea leaves. Just like when LeBron James sold his house in Cleveland and bought a big-ass mansion down here in L.A. You can start reading the tea leaves and you kind of start putting A and B together, and you just never know. Now, Westbrook can't be the only move we make. We definitely need some shooters, right? And there's going to be some available. In this draft, Chris Duarte, right, 3-and-D guy. I forget that. Corey Crispert or whatever his name is for Gonzaga, Crispert, whatever. I butcher young players' names. I forget them. But you know who I'm talking about. We could always be, in the hunt for a young talent that's ready to play now. And both of those players I just mentioned, I feel like they could fit right in and come in and provide some shooting. Not to mention free agents and stuff like that. So all those Russell Westbrook haters saying stuff like, Westbrook's not a shooter, Dan. We need shooting. Well, remember, there's about 15 to 17 positions that need to be filled on a roster. So Anthony Davis, LeBron James, Westbrook. That's 3 players. Out of those 3, 2 can shoot. If you only have one that is, streaky, then we can live with that. But what Russell Westbrook brings to you as a third option is way better than what he brings to you as a first or second option. That's what people don't understand about basketball. They're just so used to Russell Westbrook not being a winner that they automatically peg him there. However, he can become a winner, just like Gasol became a winner when he joined Kobe Bryant as the second option, right? He wasn't good enough to be a number 1 and lead a team to a championship, but he was definitely good enough to be Kobe's Robin. And same thing with Anthony Davis. He wasn't good enough to be number 1 on a team and lead his team to a championship, but he was definitely good enough to be a number 2 behind LeBron James. And I think my theory is Russell Westbrook would thrive as a number 3. He's never been a number 3. Think about it, guys. He's never, ever, ever been a number 3, right? When KD and him were on the team, James Harden still hadn't rose to stardom. So he was, A1, AB, or whatever you want to call him. Sometimes he was the best player. Sometimes he was the second best player. When he went to the Houston Rockets, he was the number 2 behind James Harden. When he went to Washington, he was number 2 behind Bradley Beal. So this is completely uncharted territory for him. He would be coming to the Lakers with a clean slate. He's coming back home. I'm sure he has a lot of family that wants to see him play locally. And I think he would definitely help the Lakers back to the title. I think he would be a key piece. First of all, he plays really good defense in spurts. At his age, I don't expect him to be posterizing people, but he still attacks the rim, still has a high motor, and he's still a triple-double threat every night. So as a third option, I'm okay with him, okay? Even though, like I said, I don't want to sound like a hypocrite here. You guys have heard me call him steroids for years, have heard me complain about his bad attitude and how he's always angry and trying to fight fans and stuff. I still don't like his attitude. But again, as a third option under LeBron James, I'm completely fine with it. He's a damn quick question. Is Skip Bayless a poor man's version of Arnold Schwarzenegger? Oh, that's funny. I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. I don't understand the context of that question, brother. He said, imagine Russ, Duncan Robinson, LeBron, AD, and a good center at number 6, man. Melo. By the way, hey, I'm glad you brought that up, Omar. Rumor has it we're going to pursue Carmelo Anthony. What does that tell me, right? As an educated, smart, intelligent fan who's been watching the sport for over 25 years, that tells me that the Lakers probably already mentally let go of Kyle Kuzma. They're just probably either looking for the right deal or, like I said, waiting up until his contract doesn't have that poison pill and he can get traded. Carmelo Anthony would bring you exactly what Kyle Kuzma was supposed to bring us this postseason. That's scoring punch off the bench, hopefully efficiently, and some confidence there. Somebody who has a lot of experience and he can come in and give you 15 to 20 every now and then. That's all you needed from Kuz. And unfortunately, he didn't do that in the past 2 playoffs. That's why he's, most likely going to be moved. But The fact that the rumor states that we're interested in Carmelo Anthony, that tells me that, I'm sorry, guys, if you guys were Kuzma fans like me, is most likely out the door already. What kind of stats is Dwight putting up lately? Is that we already have Jared Dudley for wisdom? LOL. It's not about his stats, Anthony Miller. Dwight Howard would be a great reacquisition because he brings you that toughness, that defensive mindset, and he's like an anchor. You guys play 2K, right? When you have a defensive anchor in the paint, it makes everybody else better around you defensively, stat-wise. Well, that actually happens in real life too. When you have a defensive center in the paint, when you don't have to double team the big man and dive down every time, then that leaves less open shooters, and that allows you to better rotate on the defensive end. So Dwight Howard would definitely be a good reacquisition for the Lakers. I'm not sure if that's possible or if he's even interested or if we're even interested, but I would like to see that happen again for sure. He says CJ McCollum's game is very similar to Booker's. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. A lot of people love comparing Booker to Kobe. There's no comparison. Kobe's just different animal, man. Different animal, completely different, man. I already basically beat the dead horse with why that shouldn't be a comparison. But you're right. Devin Booker to me compares more to that type of shooting guard. He compares to Ray Allen when he was in Seattle. People forget Ray Allen when he was in Seattle wasn't just a spot-up shooter. He could put the ball on the floor, take you off the dribble, attack the rim, and come off of the screen and shoot just like Devin Booker. And so he reminds me more of him when he was younger. He reminds me more of Michael Redd, who also could put the ball on the floor, spot up, and do all the similar type things. And like you said, CJ McCollum / Klay Thompson type. Booker might be a little bit better than some of those players I mentioned, but that's the better comparison for sure. The disrespect, there's never been a shooting guard like Kobe. Matter of fact, you can even argue Kobe's in a stratosphere of his own because to me, Michael Jordan was more of a small forward, where Kobe's a real, true shooting guard, and in my opinion, the greatest shooting guard of all time. That's not even an opinion. That's a fact, by the way. He said, DTLF, so is Kuz getting traded? Most likely. Most likely. You already heard multiple rumors stating that his agent wants to find a bigger role for him. He would find that in Washington. Again, you already see that if you start reading the tea leaves, Lakers are going to pursue Carmelo Anthony. We wouldn't be doing that if we're keeping Kyle Kuzma, in my opinion. Third reason being, obviously, I think Russell Westbrook has a foot in the door already. When they start following each other like that, it probably verbally already happened, like I said. I even believe that there's already been a deal struck between Washington and the Lakers. It just can't become official till August when Kyle Kuzma's contract doesn't have that poison pill clause in it anymore. So we'll see. I could be wrong. It could be a different trade, but I do believe I'm like 95% sure Kyle Kuzma has already played his last game as a Laker, sadly. But hey, I'm happy for him because I feel like he'll be able to spread his wings and develop into the player he wants to be. And I think we might be able to find a better fit for us as well, because now that we're in the LeBron James, Anthony Davis era, we don't have time for development. We could get lucky if a player just so happens to develop while contributing, but yeah, we'll see. You said no to Melo. Why not? Melo has been great for the Portland Trailblazers. When we had Kyle Kuzma a while back, and I thought he would develop with the Lakers, I didn't want Carmelo because I thought it was a repetitive position to fill out with Kuz there. But with the rumors of Kyle Kuzma leaving, I wouldn't mind Carmelo anymore. Sorry if you explained it already, but do the numbers work for Westbrook trade money-wise? I haven't looked at any particular trades for Westbrook, but we can make something happen. We can do Kuz and KCP or maybe a sign-and trade with Dennis Schroeder and somebody else for Westbrook. There's many options there. Rob Pelinka is a shark. He knows his CBA. He knows what the salary cap is, all that good stuff. So I'm not worried about the cap. I'm more concerned about who we're adding and who we're adding after that, because to me, it's not going to be the main pieces that matter. Sure, it matters. Obviously, adding somebody like Westbrook will make a big impact. But to me, is adding that bench guard, drafting that one shooting guard that can help. Maybe signing that big man that could probably be more effective than Drummond. Those are the moves that are going to really determine whether we win a championship or not. And we have to remember, the Warriors are probably going to come back with a vengeance next year because they haven't been in the playoffs the last couple of seasons. And Klay's probably going to look healthy. If Kevin Durant is any indication, of what Klay Thompson might look like next season, watch out because Klay Curry will be back. They still have Draymond. They have Wiseman, who I still think is going to be a good player down the road. They have 2 lottery picks. They could just flip both of those lottery picks and land a star. They don't even have to include Wiseman. That's the scary part. They get the right pieces. So we got to watch out for Golden State. We got to build properly to get out of the West. All right. We're going to have to be very smart and swift about our moves. That's for sure. He said, watch out for Denver. Murray will be back also. The West is always, I never even have to say watch out for this player or this player because the West is always stacked. In order to make it out of the West, you have to have a very formidable team. And unfortunately this year, injuries aside and everything, I still don't think we were formidable enough because we had a couple of bad body language, bad energy type players. I already beat the dead horse, so I won't mention who they were. But next year we got to get nothing but energy, guys like Westbrook, guys that are going to come in and play hard every night and put their whole body and mind and everything on the line to make sure that, we get out of the West. Max said, DTLF, trade KCP for a real sharpshooter. He too scared to shoot that ball. I could see a trade for KCP happening, but I wouldn't be shocked that we do hold on to KCP. But I could definitely see a trade for KCP happening because, let's be honest, outside of the bubble, he hasn't been efficient. All right. His whole career with the Lakers, all 4 years we've had him, outside of that bubble run we had, that could have been a fluke for all I know. So, yeah, he still plays good defense and he can still knock down a 3. So he's technically a 3-and-D guy. Those guys are highly coveted around the league. So I think he has some very good trade value. I don't see the Lakers just throwing him away for nothing. But if the Lakers have a piece in mind that can be acquired, then yes, I can see KCP being moved for sure. He said Lakers and not the odds on favor to get Ben Simmons. They're like 5th. Yeah, Ben Simmons. I don't think he will be a Laker, Kevin, simply because he still has a lot of developing to do. I think the Lakers are leaning more towards a seasoned player like Kyle Lowry or Russell Westbrook, even though I really ain't a fan of Kyle Lowry. I really don't know. Like he's on the wrong side of 30. He relies a lot on his speed. If he starts losing that, we're in trouble. So I don't want to gamble on that. We've been over the hill on these type of guards before. Steve Nash, Gary Payton. They end up being really old and eventually injured, and that's not good. So I'd much rather somebody who, for the most part, stays healthy in Russell Westbrook and some very good key role players. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong, but we'll see. But anyways, guys, it's going to wrap it up for me. Thanks so much for the comments. Thanks for joining me today. Again, shout out to the Hawks, man. They've been nothing short of impressive. And let's see if they can continue this playoff run. And let's see where they end up. Some have already predicted them hoisting the Larry O'Brien. I'm not too sure about that, but I am hoping that it's the East Coast. So we'll see. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys real soon. Have a great rest of your evening. Peace out.